A long time ago, I got a game that I had never heard of, but it was from a fantastic producer, Konami. Currently, that producer is addicted to casino games, which is sad, but in the good old days, Konami was one of the greats. They had franchises like Castlevania, Metal Gear, Contra, among others. I had already played Resident Evil as well as some other horror games, but this one was a new experience. Silent Hill was shot like a horror movie. The camera angles, the perversion of expectations, the jump scares, it was all extremely well studied, professionally done. And there was some aura of strange and scary, and also unique transversal to each of its games. The game opens with the sentence, "The fear of blood tends to create fear for the flesh." This phrase can be interpreted in many ways. And there lies the beauty of Silent Hill, letting the player find their truth and their own interpretation. Because Silent Hill is such a big iceberg. And I am not here to tell you how you should feel, neither is Silent Hill. The game takes place in two worlds, the fog world and the nightmare world. Let's explain it like this. And the transition between these two worlds is caused by an action the player takes, or something the player discovers, or a puzzle player solves. The story is pretty simple and innocent. Harry Mason, our hero, has a car accident to avoid hitting a woman who suddenly appears on the road. Harry gets unconscious with the violence of the crash, and when he wakes up, his daughter Cheryl is no longer on his side. Harry sets off in search of her, and he finds her in the fog. She is behaving erratically, running away from him. Harry follows her into an alley, and she just disappeared. Suddenly, the day turns into night, and we hear a siren in the distance. The world undergoes a terrifying transformation, with rust, blood, dismembered bodies, hospital stretchers, wheelchairs. The world is populated with improbable and impossible situations. Harry is attacked by small humanoid creatures armed with knives. They seem made out of a nightmare of someone we don't know yet. He gets heavily stabbed and he loses consciousness again. When Harry wakes up, he is in the town cafe, wondering, was this a dream? At the cafe, he meets Sybil Bennett, a policewoman from the neighborhood town. He informs her of the events. She offers him a weapon to protect himself, and he goes search for his daughter. And that's how our story begins. Silent Hill is a unique experience, whether playing or watching as if it were a movie. It is still an enjoyable experience. There are actually two movies of this game. They are not very good, but I must mention them in case you want to watch. One is named Silent Hill, the other is named Silent Hill Revelations. For this walkthrough, I searched for a Portuguese translated version of the game in order to show the complete game. Pow, and I killed two birds with one stone, since the subtitles are in Portuguese and the dialogues are in English. I will do this walkthrough like a movie with no comments. And since my English is so bad, you guys will enjoy that. And I will leave the interpretation open to the viewer. These notes above are just an introduction. The game may or may not have an happy ending. The player chooses this. In the first Silent Hill game, the fog and snow was a creative way of dealing with the PlayStation graphical limitations, since the year it was 1999. At the same time, it symbolized the mystery and the invisible world. It was an innovation and became a staple of the series. It's like the fragments of consciousness, subconsciousness, and human unconsciousness mirrored in this mythical city. The game plot immerses the player in a world of nightmares, a psychological horror full of creatures and frightening scenarios. Surreal but always justified. Nothing is free. Everything has a reason to be there. Often it is just in obscurity, but we will find out. Silent Hill is one of the great horror classics. The game was developed by Konami Silent Team. It was their first big project. The executives put together a promising team and said, do some kind of Resident Evil. The team's ambition and will to create surpassed the closed and selfish view of these shareholders. And this work of art was released in 1999 for the PlayStation. The game was a success. It had outstanding features, such as its gameplay, which focuses on survival using few weapons. In addition, the game had a modern look for the time, along with the soundtrack created by the composer Akira Yamaoka. A perfect atmosphere of horror was created, and the Silent Team ended up, even in the gameplay requirement, transcending Resident Evil in some ways. Because the character could move and shoot at the same time, and in Silent Hill there were a lot of melee fight options, and in Resident Evil you could only use the knife. The story is told through documents, notes, and books found throughout the game. The NPCs also give a hand on the storytelling. This game can be played on Sony consoles and found on the internet. If I wanted to play it illegally, I would probably type in Google search engine Silent Hill PS1 ISO, but don't do it because it's illegal. Silent Hill is mythological, and there's nothing like seeing it with your own eyes. I'm going to try to make this series using my cell phone and emulation at 60 FPS 1080p and using improvements from the nice emulators that you have for PlayStation, such as a large screen to beautify a little bit this game. I also produced 2 songs for this series, one to replace the intro and one for boss fights due to copyright. The original dialogues will be in English and subtitles in Portuguese. Will Harry be able to save his daughter or die along the way? Come watch the series to find out. This is the end. Let your obsession make us one.
Isn't this Cheryl? Cheryl!